Hello all, this is Dr. Dave Maslach, and in this particular video I want to talk to you about whether doctoral students, professors, and PhDs buy or rent physical books. But before I actually do that, I want to introduce you to Izzy. She's our new dog that we just got. She's our new addition to the family, our older dog. You might have watched one of the old videos from last summer. She passed away. She was 15 years old. So we ended up getting this cute little puppy right here. So she's going to be running around. She's a year old. And if you hear weird noises in the background, it's probably Izzy. She's going a little crazy. So say hi, Izzy. Hi. All right. So if you don't know me, I'm a professor of innovation and strategy and entrepreneurship, and I created this whole reciprocity project. Go ahead, Izzy. And to give back as much as I possibly can. There were so many people that helped me out that I wanted to pay the favor forward to help you out. So do doctoral students, professors, and PhDs actually buy or rent books? So this is kind of a weird question, right? Because if you think about how the world works right now, everything is online. And we often think that we probably shouldn't buy physical books at this moment, right? And there's no real reason to buy physical books because everything is available. All the information is available on the Googster, on Google. But there's lots of different reasons why we do this. And so I actually pooled the audience, my audience, reciprocity audience, in 2020. So that was about a month ago, and I asked them the following question: do you still buy physical books for your research library? And 74% of the people still purchase books for their research library, which is kind of curious and interesting, right? So personally, I stopped buying a lot of physical books, but I do use, there's two things that I end up doing. So first one, I use audible.com for listening to practitioner books. So these are books that are related to business, economics, and behavioral science. And generally the books that are on Audible, they're much more for a general audience that are just easier reads, are much more fun. And then, so what I do is when I'm falling asleep, I'll just put in the earphones and listen to Audible. I just find that I get exhausted at the end of the day, and I just don't want to sit there and read anymore. So, and then the other thing I end up doing is I download a lot of PDFs and ebooks and journal articles that are available online. And so our university is actually really good. My university is really good. And they have a large library that you can get access to for all sorts of stuff like that. And so I often don't run into that particular problem. However, there's three reasons why we end up buying a lot of physical books, right? From time to time that we end up doing that kind of stuff as PhDs. So the first one is reference books. And so Stata, for example, using statistical software, a lot of us will buy the technical reference book. And because it's easy to flip through and kind of make sense of what's going on, we end up, reading through that. I tend to actually search the technical manual online, and then I can read it online. But I know lots of people actually buy the technical manual and in a physical book. And another reason is to get access to rare books that are tough to get access to online in any sort of way. And they're probably never ever going to be printed online or converted online, just because they're so rare and they're so sort of obscure that it makes no sense for somebody to actually convert this into, electronic version and stuff. So I'll give you an example. I was interested a few months ago about what my grandpa did during World War II, where he went to, because he didn't disclose any of this stuff. He talked about some of the countries he went to, but he didn't disclose and sort of the trips and, battles and stuff like that he went through. And so I was curious about what was going on, and I found this really rare, obscure book about his regiment, and it's this tiny little regiment that's in Northern Ontario. So the number of people that are actually going to write about it and the number of people that are going to be curious about it is just really tiny in terms of a population. It might be, maybe 500 people a year that is going to be interested in even looking for something like that. So the audience is tiny. But I found this really rare book from the 1960s, and I ordered it living in the US. I live in Florida right now. I ordered it from Edmonton, Canada. If you know where that is, it's like really northern Canada. It's a pretty large city in northern Canada. And so it got delivered to me, which was really cool to actually get this. So any of the books that are out of print are really rare. we often do buy these kind of things to figure out what's going on and read some of this stuff. That there is some really good knowledge that's still out there that kind of gets lost because it's not available online just yet. And so the third thing we often buy books or physical books is to communicate status or symbolism about something. Often we'll buy books from our favorite researchers or favorite authors, and we'll have it on our in our research library, so people can come in and they'll say, "Oh, you read that such and such right here," and then you might figure out what's going on with that and understand what's going on with that particular thing. So, but there's also the sort of symbolism component of it. So, for example, somebody did really well in their life and we want to honor that particular individual in terms of research that they've done. So we'll buy some of their books or buy one of their book to honor that particular individual because we just enjoyed what they did. And so there's lots of symbolism and sort of status and things like that we're trying to communicate with the books that we have on. They're meaningful is really what it is. I'm not saying this in a bad way, right? I'm just saying that they're meaningful to us. We'll buy the physical book and have it sent to us, and so it sits there. It sort of means something behind why we actually do this. So a lot of people still buy physical books. I don't think that's going to die out anytime soon. It's going to be like LPs, right? So imagine what's happening with this is that so the LP industry, right? So the records that we used to get, right? The 45s, I guess they were called, right? They kind of died out when electronic music came in, right? So downloadable music and stuff like that came in. Nobody wanted that, but now there's kind of a revival that's going on. Lots of people are listening to, it started off with DJs, right, with the thing, but now it's moved on, and more collectors are out there kind of collecting this kind of stuff because it means something to them. And I think that's what's going to happen with a lot of physical books. Is it's going to really mean something to a lot of people. And it's going to continue on and keep growing, I think, as we develop, right? So there's just be more information that's available. And one is not going to sort of take away from the other one, right? So it's not what is called the competence destroying technology. It's competence enhancing technology or innovation that is going to enhance what we already have and grow what we already have, right? So that's what knowledge is kind of weird that way. And in books and education and stuff, it's one of the weirder things that sort of doesn't work in the same way that a lot of things work. In Kenneth Arrow, who's a really cool researcher, I think he won the Nobel Prize, I can't remember, but sort of pointing this out, that knowledge is not necessarily, doesn't behave in the same sort of way that we think of regular assets that we have. So, keep growing and expanding, and that's what I would expect with this in terms of growing and expanding and compounding on each other. All right, so if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, do subscribe to the YouTube channel, I do appreciate it. And yes, people actually still buy physical books. A lot of people still buy physical books. All right, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.